So Dimension. Dimension was first. Dom is next. What's up, Dom? So, let me see here. For some reason, the see what's going on with the stupid cam. What's going on with this? All right, so let's move this over and down. All right. We gotta draw this. Hands a little cramped. A little cramped today. So hey, thanks, Dom. Appreciate it. Hey, what's up, dude? What's up, Ash? Used to do these morning podcasts before. Well, I mean, sort of, and just in terms of like the the podcast. This whole thing was just something I did on iTunes. I didn't stream or draw, so I was just talking about different projects I'd work on, and personal advice and shit, like just career shit or stuff going on in my life. And I did that by myself for the first couple years, and then eventually I had Brandon on, and then I transitioned that over to here to all this because I started live streaming, but then live stream was deleting my feeds and not streaming in HD. Um, but in terms of just turning on the microphone, just having a conversation about whatever, that's where I used to do it. It's way easier to do it here because I can just upload straight to YouTube. Putting that shit on the podcast used to be a fucking pain. So it's just been on my mind to get around to doing it again. Yeah. I mean, it's tough, you know, to get even Brandon on sometimes, and I don't know how you engage every conversation. So sometimes it's just better for me to just sit here and ramble in a 20-minute space. Um, Actually, like last night, he's been working on this Sagat commission sketch cover. And I'm like, dude, where is that Sagat thing? Like, it's been 2 weeks since I've seen anything. And he sends me this updated progress. And I was just like, you're obviously not doing the practice, man. He's just back to doing fuck all. So I was just like, man, like, I don't know. You know, I don't understand. I don't understand what he's getting at any of this. He sees a little bit of improvement and then he stops. It stops, and then goes right back to fucking doing nonsense. I'm like, you just gonna keep this up for another 5 years? It's preparation for when I hand the hand the podcast to what? Like I'm like he's funny. He does make comments like that to me on personally, and I'm like, what am I handing over? Like let's say what would he be producing that anyone would be impressed with? It's like you know. Sometimes people think I'm picking on him, but I'm holding him to the standard at which I hold myself. You know. So if you think I'm being mean to him, if anyone does, is like understand that that's how I talk. That's not how I would talk to an artist in an art department. In a professional setting. This is how I talk to myself. So it's just like you know, it's on him, man. Potato crap. That's hilarious. Well, that's the first thing that would go. If he had his way, he hates that shit. He hates it. He wants to be taken seriously. I'm gonna start doing things that like other people can't do, and people start taking you seriously. But that's the problem. There was this little period of time where he lives where he was making money because that area was supporting local artists. They've done supporting him and they're moving on to other artists. And so like that period of time he really thought like he was the shit. I just sat back, I'm like, well, we'll just watch how this rolls. It'll take care of itself. And I still think he has it in him. I mean, he would say no, 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 because that's what he has to say. Or he might actually 100% believe it, but I don't care what people tell me. I watch what they do. It's his goal to be an artist. He's never going to be a full-time artist. I mean, that's not an option. But part-time, dude. Art's a great part-time thing. There's no reason why not. Build a nice side living, you know? Do an extra 10, 20 grand a year, Nothing wrong with that. Spend time at the art table versus playing fucking games and shit. But it's like he's too good at the games that he plays. When he tells me he never plays his fucking video games, I just don't care to dig into his Xbox One account and figure out how long he's playing. But he knew all the fucking spots. And he's like talking to me like I've never seen people play video games. Like, bro, dude, I mean, I've been playing first person shooters since Wolfenstein 3D. Don't fucking start. Like, I know when someone knows the fucking map. And how we know, like, it's just funny. So, You know, he would say he would just want to be, a good artist, but he's not doing the diligence, He's just not. He kind of does it a couple times. Yeah, he knows them too well to not be. I mean, come on, man. I remember when, like, the last time I got way into that shit was fucking Goldeneye, right? And it's like I know it. I know the maps so well. I know them now. It's been 20 years. You stick me on any Goldeneye map, I'll fucking know my way around pretty well. Like, he's on top of a certain thing, and then he's trying to show me too. He's like, "Oh, look, we go over here, and I go over here, but I wait over here." And I'm like looking at him like, "How do you not know, like what the V button does in Photoshop, but you know all this shit, you know?" I'm like, "I'll tell you why, because you don't care." Then he'll say, "No, I care, I care." No, you don't care. You have to say you care, but you can't impart motivation. You just can't. There's nothing you can do to be like, it's like how many times I gotta tell him, like, I should never have to hit him up at night. He should be at the table between 9 and 10, and he should be hitting me up every time, you know? But he doesn't. I'll let it go a week or two, you know? And then I'll be like, start texting him again at fucking 9, like, and then he'll start doing it. We're talking about potato craft. Uh, It's a good example to show you all, like, I mean, I was really tempted to just stream his fucking progress last night. Like, let me just put this up and we can all go over it together, but I don't know how beneficial it would have been to him. Would have been fun for me. And beyond doing just like less work, I'll have to get into this conversation sometime. But there's other aspects to it. This whole, let me get an app that basically draws for me. Let me just trace over endless 3D models. Let me just trace over photos of people. And, then I hear fellow pros are like, "Hey man, without reference, it speeds up the process." I'm like, yeah, but what's happening is people are using so much reference, they don't know what they're doing. They're just tracing over stuff. And then it all sort of blends together, and it's just all this effort to produce more, 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 more. But you can see it wearing on artists after a while. You can see their stuff just clearly just tracing over people. I don't know, just tracing over models, tracing over people, tracing over models, tracing over, just to produce more and more and more work. I mean, why does Pixar bother hand animating anything? Fuck it, right? Just get actors and mocap. Why? Why bother? Why bother doing CG anything? Just turn on a camera, shoot outside, fuck it. You know? I mean, there's reasons, There's a handcrafted fucking thing, Like, there's quality shows, man, you know? But part of it's just this whole thing to get noticed. If I produce more work, I'll be more noticed, and it's just, I just like, you maybe not. All I do know is things look like dog shit a lot, you know? You know, I don't give a fuck if someone's famous or not famous. I just look at the work and it's like, you want to know why your shit's not working out? You want to know why it has limitations? Because you've limited yourself, you know, to some moment in time in which this is a popular opinion. But you know, 10, 15 years from now, there'll be other opinions. There'll be another you that's the age you are now that's telling you what's the fucking new popular way to do things, you know? So find an acceptable level of effort that provides quality. And if it takes you, you know, that long to make it, that's how long it takes to make it. All this shorthanded fucking nonsense is just, it's a path to just coming around to the same conclusion eventually. There's no way around it, you know? If you want an easy fucking way to make a living, don't draw, you know? It's not a service, it's a craft, you know, and it's completely subjective. So everyone's got a fucking opinion about it. But I have very specific, like, had very specific ideas of what I wanted to produce in life, and you know, I mean, I may have small goals, but I managed to meet them, you know, and it didn't come magically. I also think with those kinds of conversations, they need to be had when I'm not responding to people. It kind of needs to be a one-way conversation, you know? Like, I've just never responded to that voice on the radio that was doing the radio voice, you know? The And the internet can get the same way. There's that YouTube voice. Hey everybody, we're all in it together, you know, like we're not in this together. You're probably never gonna meet me, statistically speaking. Because I don't go out much. I'm definitely not going to cons. So, you know, you know, let's just you're in it with you. And I'm here to like provide whatever I can. And it may not work for you. But here's what happened to me, and here's what continues to happen, you know, and here's how I'm dealing with it. Good or bad, it's how it works, you know. So that was the whole point. It's the whole point of it. But I got a buddy of mine, you know, who was there with me when I first got back from the army, you know, and went through a lot of the fires with me, and he was going through some medical issues now, and but he just stopped putting the effort into his art because he was getting paid to do T-shirts, and you know, T-shirts breeds not drawing well. Like it just does. Like don't draw well, you know, and it's just affected his art. It's affected his art negatively to the point where now it's like he's drawing at a level like when I was 13. I mean, less, maybe like an 11 when I was 11, you know? And this guy makes more money than me because, you know, he plays well with the suits, you know. I got him his job and he makes more than me because the suits like him, but his fucking art's horrible. And he's done it to himself, you know? He's done it to himself. And those are things I think about a lot, you know? This is a newer paper, so I'm just trying to get the nib works a little differently with it. Yeah, good idea. Best thing to do, you know. Right. Well, that's the other thing too, man. Especially when you add a kid into it. You know, if you got if you got a career that's gonna keep you at work sometimes for weeks on end, you know, you have to really start thinking that the extracurricular art needs to be, you know, one thing at a time and, not based on other people's deadlines. Like, I mean, I just had to take that stance the last year when I went back to t-shirts. I was like, I'm not doing freelance. I will come to my room and work on my own shit, but I am not going to be under additional deadlines when I got time off for a holiday from work, it's paid. I'm not coming home and then stressing about having to work over the holiday weekend for some other fucking company to put something on a cover that maybe 500 people will see, if ever, and it's just not going to change my life. Like, it's not worth the trouble, no matter what logo gets thrown on that. None of it's. I mean, the biggest circulation I ever had was a Game Informer cover. It's not changed my life. Like, it hasn't. It's cool. I'm glad I did it. But like, I'm just. You have to start thinking, like, how do you want to spend your time? You know, what do you want to get out of it? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, about a piece that they had done, and I asked, how much time did you spend on that? And I said, oh, they spent like 12 hours just coloring it. I'm like, well, how long did you take to draw it? Like 3 hours. I'm like, maybe you don't need to put so much effort in them. Do you want to be a color? Like, well, no, I just got to color my own work. I'm like, maybe you should do something simpler just because you're not enjoying it. And this person was doing art to like make a living, like taking on different commissions to like pay bills. And I'm like, noodling that for 12 hours isn't going to get you another commission. Like, once it's drawn, it's drawn. Like, that's going to get you the commission. So, like, I just don't know. Like, I mean, there's production ways you can do to improve, but 12 hours when it takes you three to draw something, you shouldn't be spending any more than 3 hours to color if it took you 3 hours to draw it. You know? Like, I mean, it was like digital. So it's just like, if you're going to take 12 hours to hand color it, like these fucking things take, I mean, at least I get it. You're getting some traditional thing out of it. But I mean, 12 hours to digitally color a commission. I don't. I think perhaps that's what you call overkill, And then they were like, well, I'm just not like you. I'm like, it had nothing to do with being me. Like, all right, don't, hey, you know what? It's cool. Don't listen. I don't get anything out of this, other than I just feel karmic sense to be like, don't, gotta be careful not to get in the way of yourself. Like, what is, I get if you were learning a technique and they were trying to explain it, they learned things, and I was just like, well, okay, what did you learn? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, but you just told me you learned stuff, so like, what did you learn? Or is that just like a passive aggressive way to get out of this conversation? Because that's cool too, you don't have to be passive aggressive. You could just say, kind of just don't care what I think. I don't know, that's fine too. We can go there. But don't complain to me about fucking how you need money and you're spending 12 hours doing something no one gave a shit about. Cool part is I've seen their streams and I'm like, at this mark it was good. I just feel, like like as a friend, someone should tell you, hey, when you were at like the 4 hour mark, it looked perfect. Why did you move any further? You know, why did you spend another 8 hours on it? Well, it didn't look right. I'm telling you, it looked great at the 4 hour mark. You know, I feel bad. Like, been in an art department, right, where you're working and the seasoned artists in there are just like letting you fucking spin your wheels. You know, and then after you get yelled at, they're like, yeah, I saw you over there struggling, but I don't. I've always tried to fight against that. I don't want to get in the way of someone and shake them off and throw off their game, but it's just like if you want, you gotta figure out what level, is shortchanging yourself and what level is you've gone past the point of, necessity. And I don't think it's hard to grade yourself on that. Hard to grade yourself. I've only learned through like sheer failure and success and like writing everything down and what worked didn't work. Your videos help you a lot. I'm glad to hear it, Susan. Thank you. Tanara, what's up? Oi. There's my dog yelling at the Amazon guy. How much do I draw in a day? Uh, I put in at least, at least 8 hours. You know, depends on what my schedule is. Could be up to 12. But I mean, sometimes I got coloring I do. I got business stuff. I got house stuff I got to do, errands and shit. So I can't eat, but I can eat in the time. But I generally draw for about anywhere to 6 to 8 hours a day. Yeah, longer sometimes. I mean, sometimes you'll see some long streams. But I tend to take a break after those moments. Rest my hand up. I mean, like this morning I was doing concept work for Tom, you know, with these character designs he needs, and so it's not the most glamorous art, you know, but it's tough. That took a few hours. Now, what's up, Armando? Switch is where I'd want to play it. Yeah, the indie apocalypse, the indie apocalypse. Been watching a lot of videos, the GDC videos on that indie apocalypse thing. So we're supposed to do a gaming cast this week. I'm gonna try to bring it in there. Talk a little bit about that. I don't know if it's capable. Who knows what's possible? You got a billion people producing content. Well, I can't make YouTube do anything. YouTube is screwed. There is no other platform. You know, you can stream on Twitch, but they don't store the videos. There's nothing else. They're not screwed. You gotta remember, like, you're young, Armando. So, like, whatever seems dire now, 3, 4 years from now, just get solved. You know? Remember how Facebook was supposed to die because when they went public, the stock tanked. You remember that? A lot of people do. So I don't know. If I wake up one day and there's no more YouTube, then find something else. But right now there isn't. You know? Hey, what's up, Big Nine? When you, I don't know what you're talking about. I just wouldn't get too worried about, whether YouTube's going to be around or not, where to migrate to. The advertising dollars are gone. You know, they'll work out a solution. And if they don't, then it's been fun, guys. But highly doubt it. Hey, what's up, Unlimited? I've already been through it twice. You know, I don't really care if I make money on this channel, so it's not really why I'm here for. It's not my problem. It's their fucking problem. Ah, thanks a little bit. Really appreciate it. It's a little nippy in here. I gotta maybe crank the heat up 3 degrees. It's gonna drop down to the 30s this week, so I gotta alternate. What is? Oh, I see. So I got this one to do, and then the Mercy, and then I'm done with commissions for a while. Oh, that's not true. I have 2 more backlog commissions I gotta do. Fuck, forgot about those. So, all right, so I got one more to do, and then I got 2 backlog ones. But I'll be doing those like once a week while I work on other stuff. Yeah, will do, Johnny. Yeah, I don't know. I have to see. I'll do a test. I might do one test print and see how they come out. But if they don't really, I don't know. Thing is, these things are 8.5 by 11, so they don't blow up very well, you know. So then you do the smaller prints, and then people generally only buy prints from me when there's artwork attached, like sketches and shit. So then it's just like I'm not, you know, I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to print things and have them shipped over when it's just like two. You gotta print like a minimum of 10 of them to make it worth the trouble. And so, sombra. I'm hoping maybe one day they make an Overwatch game that isn't a first-person shooter. Probably not. Would be great to see a RPG. No, I haven't seen the deleted scenes on Zootopia. I watched it in the theaters. I haven't seen it since. It was good though. I liked it. Just remember this, Johnny. Warcraft didn't start out as an MMO. You'd be surprised. I think the characters are cool enough that they can survive different takes. We disagree on that one, Tiggs. I never. I don't want a live action movie, man. The movie should have been completely CGI. Team up with DreamWorks. I don't know if DreamWorks has the artistic ability to pull it off, man. Sad to say. Like, to me, the Warcraft movie should have been exactly what that Battle for Azeroth trailer is. Should look like that, and that should have been the story. Both sides equally fucking whatever. Like, but it needs a strong art direction. I just don't see. I mean, these that style, man. I don't like a watered down version of their style. And the movie was watered down to me. Wasn't nearly as bad as say something like Super Mario Brothers, which is a colossal fucking nightmare of a film. Should be CGI. Yeah, the live action Mario movie. Whoo! If I remember, I think the movie came out before Jurassic Park. A Pixar would be dope, but highly doubt it. I do too. What's up, Daisuke? I just don't see Pixar picking up any licenses, you know? They just do their own thing. Could happen, though. Stranger things have. Yeah, I saw Coco. I like it. It was good. Well, they signed a deal with Universal for the theme park, so it's not going to happen. But they're making the Nintendo World and the Universal in Japan, and then eventually in the LA one, and the Florida one eventually. And they signed that deal with Illumination, who has that deal with Universal. So basically, they've partnered with Universal, not Disney. Doing a Overwatch commission. Nintendo Versal. It's hilarious. You gotta get Corey Feldman to do the voice of 16 days. 16 days till Star Wars. That'll suffer the consequences of that. Looking forward to that game that the Motorstorm guys are making on PS4 or whatever. Was it the TG? Was that Sony? I don't know if it's exclusive, but it was at that Sony. So it's probably just debuting on the PS4. But I like over the top racing. I don't like realistic. I don't like massively multiplayer games. So I'm not going to play a racing game where everyone's logged on. Sonic Racing was fun. I don't like the over the top car designs, you know, but it's pretty nitpicky. Yeah, she's just a giant, like, plushy pillow she's sitting on. Blizzard should make a competitive multiplayer Overwatch kart racing game. Overcarts. Be a console game. I would want it outside the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Hey, no one saw them making a card game, and it worked out, right? It can be a simple little thing. What games do I have for the Switch? I have Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and Sonic Mania. I don't purchase a lot of games. I rent them on the GameFly. I purchase the ones I'm gonna beat. So technically, I have Battle Chasers, but it hasn't been released yet because I picked the Switch as my system. So yeah, but it's not that there aren't good games to be recommended. So I just don't have. I'm not gonna have the time to play them. I don't buy games I can't play. You know, they'll just sit there. Some games I make a lot of time for, like Dragon Quest or Uncharted. other games I just play continually, like I'll play Diablo 3 on my PS4. No, Shovel Knight's awesome. I already own it on PC because I backed the Kickstarter when it first came out on Kickstarter. I enjoy playing Diablo 3 with the controller. I didn't think I would, but I prefer it. Yeah, Cuphead's dope. It's better to play Cuphead with a friend though. Local co-op. Local co-op. It's pretty crazy, Johnny. All right, everybody. My wife came home. I gotta go get dinner made at 6 o'clock. I'll be back on tonight. We got stuff to do. I'll wrap this up probably in about 3 hours. I'll be back on in 3 hours. So they made a Contra follow-up game that was pretty dope. Arc System Works made it. Was it Contra? What was that? Fuck, it looked awesome. It looked like a giant anime. Short, but it's pretty fucking dope. Hard as fuck. All right, everybody. We'll zoom out here. So we'll wrap this up in a few. Thanks for hanging out. Be back soon. Peace, everybody.